Jesus the Troublemaker, His Last 8 Days, an exercise in historical imagination. Written by Reverend Andy Roland. Cover artwork by Nathaniel Gillett. Narrated by Peter Walters. First, a word of explanation. 2,000 years ago in Earth time, the whole of southern Europe and North Africa would join together in a Mediterranean-wide customs union we call the Roman Empire. The small city-state of Rome in Italy had conquered all this territory. 50 years earlier, it had become a military autocracy and was now ruled by a succession of Caesars or emperors in Italy, with soldiers stationed everywhere. Although the Romans spoke Latin, the universal language of the empire was Greek, building on the centuries of trading that the Greek city-states had been involved in. The glue that kept the empire together was a tolerant attitude towards the various religions and different lands, whether people sacrificed to Jupiter or Zeus or Artemis or Isis or whoever. At the eastern end of the empire was a different kind of country called Judea. It had been ruled for 30 years by a half-Jewish king, Herod, who had been appointed by Caesar. At the time this book is set, it was split into 4 parts. Judea, together with Samaria, was ruled by a Roman governor, and the 3 other parts were ruled by descendants of Herod. Unlike the rest of the known world, this people, the Jews, had no statues or images in their worship. They believed in one supreme God, who was beyond all human categories. The focus of their religion was a magnificent temple in Jerusalem, built by King Herod, where they sacrificed animals as a regular part of worship. Jews lived not only in Judea, but all over the empire. There were probably about 1 million Jews living in Judea and Galilee, roughly the same number as lived in Egypt. The highest authority in Israel was the high priest in Jerusalem and the council of elders, called the Sanhedrin. A 5 days' walk north from Jerusalem was the district of Galilee, ruled by Herod Antipas. In the middle was a major city called Sepphoris, built in the best Greek style. 5 miles from there was a small village called Nazareth. In it was a stonemason and carpenter called Yeshua, known to the world now as Jesus, the Greek form of his name. About 25 years after Rome had taken control of Judea and Jerusalem, Jesus started a preaching and healing ministry, wandering around small towns and villages of Galilee. He became very popular and was widely regarded as a prophet. Our story opens about 3 years later, when he and his followers were on their road to the temple in Jerusalem to celebrate the most important festival of the Jewish year, the Passover. 8th Nisan, 6 days before Passover, Friday. It was hot in the Jordan Valley. It was mid-March, less than a month since there had been snow in Jerusalem, or rather, Yerushalayim. But the Jordan Valley is 850 feet below sea level and has its own microclimate. The fast-flowing river added humidity to the heat of the sun, with lush patches of jungle interspersed by plots of banana, date, and lemon groves. The broad path along the west bank of the Jordan normally saw just a handful of farmers with donkey and wagons, and an occasional rich man's chariot. Roman legionaries were scarce, being based at important cities like Caesarea, Samaria, and Jerusalem. This morning, however, the flat path was being used by literally thousands of people, all walking in the same direction. They were religious Jews,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?